Welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Chris
and
Rob Morphy.
Be sure to rate and review this podcast on the Apple iTunes and Apple Podcast app.
Sure.
I forgot.
Excellent.
I forgot the app
You
name.
drew blank there, but yeah.
I did. I drew a blank. So, yeah, be sure to rate and review. It helps us out a lot. Be sure to follow us on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitters. And we have some reviews before we get started with this week's episode. So let's get into some reviews from you, the good listeners. First review here comes from Monster Kid 2 with a 5-star review.
Nice.
Very nice. Thank you, Monster Kid. He goes on to say, this is a great podcast that gives the proper insight to a topic close to my heart. I would love to hang out with this trio as we seem to be like-minded and relate almost everything to monsters, cryptids, metal, and movies. I would like to
Fair
hear,
enough.
I would like to hear Big Lou do some guest hosting on episodes unrelated to Annabelle. I binged to catch up on all the available episodes, and I cannot wait for more. Keep up the great work. I would like to apologize for my inability to read, because no matter how good I edit this, it's going to come across like I can't read.
That's all right.
I also, too, would like to send an apology to our dear listener, Laura Cram, because, as Rob and I discussed on the car ride over here, when I see someone's name, I just can't pronounce it.
It happens.
I believe Chris brought up David. I just say David. And the same thing with Mike. I say Mike.
It happens.
McKay. Yeah. So Laura, thank you for your review, and I'm sorry that I messed up your name. But also, too, thank you to Monster Kid 2 for your review as well. I'm terrible with names, and I can't read. So,
yay.
We love you anyway.
I'm trying to traverse reality with those two things
With
on my back. Yeah.
Like a basic grasp of the alphabet and just a prayer.
Not even.
Dude, you're getting by.
I have a couple of chaos magic sigils I've been working on so that I can read better. It's not working.
I feel like that's
literacy magic. That's hilarious.
I feel like it's like a paradox.
All right, so thank you again, Monster Kid, and we have another review that Rob is going to read here because, again, my failing brain is just not working.
That's fair enough.
Oh, 1 second here while I pull up this review. There you are, Robert. If you could read that top one, please.
This comes to us from Chuck Quilty. And, oh my God, another 5-star review. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, Chuck. That's awesome.
All right. Like Car Talk for lovers of the weird, I just discovered your show a week ago, and I'm working my way back to the Loveland Frogmen episode. I'm sorry, the Loveland Frogmen episode by episode. From a huge fan of the paranormal, the supernatural, and the cryptozoological, I think these guys have an awesome mix of skepticism and open-mindedness, serious and silly, that one needs to explore the implausible and often ridiculous depths of the unknown without either being sucked into the abyss or dismissing every weird thing out of hand. So true.
You best.
Keep up the good work, and you'll need to do an episode on the Monkey Man of New Delhi. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Totally, yeah.
It's one of my favorites. All right, and he goes on to say, one of my absolutely favorite and relatively obscure cases, the Monkey Man there, of high strangeness, perfect for this show. Thank you so much, Chuck.
Thank you,
That's
Chuck. Yeah,
awesome.
that's excellent.
And I agree. The Monkey Man of New Delhi is great.
I think our friend Ev wanted us to do that one, too, on the YouTube channel. I think he left that comment, too.
I think he did, yeah.
The Monkey Man New Delhi.
I mean, nothing like basically a Spider-Man-like hominid attacking people in a big, highly populated city, but dressed like an outtake from Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
With his metal helmet
really,
and his spiky gloves, and I don't even know what else. I mean, it's crazy.
It's like a black metal monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he works
awesome.
He works for Ming, clearly.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Totally.
Clytus,
Totally.
on board.
Awesome. All right, and also, too, that review came to us from our Facebook page, and he also left a review on the iTunes as well. So you can leave a review on our Facebook page and our iTunes like Chuck did, and that would be awesome, and we would totally appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all very much. So, moving on, we're going to get the show started proper, and this week we are talking about the NASA Gargoyle, Demon, Vampire, Alien Spy, or Oracle of Doom.
Dun, dun.
Oh, God, an oracle.
Oracles.
Oracle.
That's one of my
It's
favorite
rarely
words.
an oracle.
Yeah, it's so rarely an oracle.
We've never
I don't know,
decided
dude. I
something
think it's
was
always technically an oracle.
It depends on the context.
Depending on perspective, we're all oracles.
I don't
if you
know.
think about
that's,
it.
you know what?
Like frozen
You
burritos
are
are
pushing it.
rarely oracles.
Yeah, if I predict I'm going to eat some fucking pizza and then I do, I'm like, my God.
You're an
I'm right.
You technically are. You are. Okay, here we go. So, in 1986, a NASA employee had a horrifying encounter with a winged, jet-black, seemingly malevolent monstrosity. An encounter that would, by all accounts, haunt him for the rest of his life.
And there we go.
There it is.
Jeez.
On a blustery evening, that's right out of Pooh Corner.
Blustery.
On a blustery evening sometime in 1986, Frank Shaw, a NASA archivist at Houston's Johnson Space Center, claimed to have had a terrifying run-in with a creature that seemed to hail either from the depths of Hades or at the very least a mid-70s made-for-TV movie.
If you got to come from one of two places, it may as well be Hades or Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Mid-70s, super cheesy ABC movie of the week. I
Totally.
mean, that's the best.
All right.
Okay. While information regarding this case is admittedly sparse, Shaw's daughter, Desiree, would eventually reveal the details of this mysterious run-in to author and researcher Nick Redfern in 2004. In that interview, Desiree testified that she realized that something was dreadfully wrong the moment her father walked through the door of their home late one night after working at the Johnson Space Center. While neither Desiree nor her mother were particularly alarmed by Shaw's tardiness, as he often was required to work into the wee hours, they were both alarmed by his apprehensive demeanor. The pair attempted to comfort Shaw, who would eventually be able to compose himself enough to regale them with a terrifying tale about his brush with the unknown. According to Shaw, he was walking to his car at the end of his shift when he happened to glance up and see a ghastly, black, gargoyle-like figure perched ominously on the edge of one of the Space Center's buildings. That blows.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to see that one. A long shift being a NASA. Is it an archivist or archivist? Is it archivist, right?
It could be an archivist.
Well, because
An
I can't
archivist.
read. Remember, I need help.
You know, I don't know. I would say archivist, but archivist.
Archivist, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I look to you guys for answers. I'm the illiterate one.
I don't know that. I've never had a need to use that word.
I've
no,
never
that's-
said that word. No.
You know, when I came across that title, I was like, "Oh,
Right.
it's pretty cool." You're probably going through classic files, old photos of the moon,
Dude, or it's
whatever
a
you're
really,
doing, or it's a real
it's a
tedious job
shitty in the basement.
in the basement,
like, ugh.
exactly, where you get no sun, you don't
Yeah.
get to see any sweet rockets or shake hands with an astronaut.
No.
You're just working with dirty paper and I don't know, staples. It just sounds horrible.
Dude, you got a staple shop.
Give it
Yeah,
to Chris,
sometimes
the
it-
archivist or the archivist.
Oh,
He'll take care of
who's
it.
going to hole punch this? Three hole punch. The only one that matters.
Well,
all right. So,
You don't want to see that when you get out of work. That's what I'm trying to say.
no, you don't. Yeah, and well, you're thinking about going home, getting a hot pocket. Watching
A
some
hot pocket? A fucking...
I enjoy hot pockets.
You guys, let's go to... We're going to get Hot Pockets. We're going to Bull Point.
Yeah,
You guys mock everything I love.
dude, because the hot pocket
I wasn't
is not
expecting-
a fucking food, dude.
Like, have you ever just gotten out of
I
work and
never
been like,
once have I craved.
I need
I've
the
eaten a hot pocket
simplicity?
out of sheer
No, listen.
desperate fucking
I
ration.
have my Hot Pockets. I have. I've been like...
You guys are
looking
fucked. I'm sorry.
sometimes you just need diarrhea. Sometimes you're bound up.
I
and
don't
you just need to
need
clear
diarrhea.
that shit
No,
out.
you do. If you're eating a hot
No.
pocket, come on. Who's the
They have some
comedian
delectable
with
crusts.
The great
The
hot
Jim
pocket?
Gaffigan.
Gaffigan, yeah.
Pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've eaten pockets, definitely, but...
I don't, dude.
All right.
They're
What do you
terrible.
want to eat when you get out of work?
I don't know,
Insert
man.
said
Some
food.
nice fruit.
Yeah.
Couple
Could I
of
said
beers.
pizza and then maybe
Yes.
gotten some
No,
slack?
I don't eat. I don't eat after
Dude,
10
if you
o'clock.
said pizza, I would be like, yeah, I do that every other day. That's
I
me.
have a nice healthy piece of fruit, and then I crush
What?
beers.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
You won't eat in a car. You won't eat after 10. When do you eat? Are you a person?
You look forward to a pear.
Yeah, no one looks forward to a goddamn
I can't wait to
pear.
go home and lounge around with a
I look
pear.
forward to blueberries and no less than 6 beers drinking in 2 hours.
No less than,
No
but
less
possibly
than, but
more.
possibly
Do my
more.
runes.
Yeah.
Eat a pomegranate.
Yeah, I work on my sigil, and then there you go.
All right.
Sorry.
Let's get back to Shaw.
Holy.
I digress.
I don't know
In
what
his
was
Hot
on his
Pockets.
mind. Perhaps
It wasn't a Hot Pocket.
Probably
Did
not.
they exist in 86?
Well, I don't know.
Probably some form
Maybe
of,
his
some
wife made
form
some
of shit
hamburger
food.
helper, lasagna flavored, which we can all agree is delicious.
I love that. No, I love lasagna.
No, that's a
flavor.
wonderful food. I love processed foods.
I lived on
you
hamburger
guys.
helper
I
for
want.
years.
I want your salt levels immediately. I want your sodium levels in your blood immediately.
You don't.
Okay.
I want your jerk levels right now. Yeah.
That's the look on your face. I want your jerk level.
Shaw claimed,
Anywho.
All right, sorry.
after he saw said gargoyle-like entity,
All right.
Shaw claimed that he was frozen in horror at the sight of this astounding apparition, which, according to his description, was a jet black humanoid figure which seemed to have a large, billowing cape draped across his shoulders. So he's fashionable and demonic.
Is it Batman?
I was going to say, what part are you like, it's Batman. Like, thank God Batman's
For a
alive.
second, you've got to think it's Batman.
86 Batman.
Yeah, 86
it's a pretty
Batman.
decent Batman.
That's a good Batman. That's a solid Neil Adams Batman. Well, no, 86 is pre-Keaton, so that's definitely got to be Neil Adams Batman.
Mm-hmm.
It could still be a Miller Batman.
Oh, it could be.
Absolutely.
Was that out in 86 or was it?
It doesn't
like
have to be
87?
in the year, but that's still within the norm of a Miller Batman.
For any of us, we'd be like, oh, it's Batman. He's real.
And then it's not, and it's horrible.
No, it's not. So what did
As
he
if
see?
the cape factor, as if that weren't bizarre enough, Shaw claimed that he saw two massive bat-like wings sticking out on either side of the fabric, or perhaps it was the wrinkled flesh of the folded wings that Shaw perceived to be a cape.
Oh,
That's me
okay.
inserting my own rationale. I'll admit I'm sort of molding the story at this point.
Right.
Because it's so fucking batshit crazy, literally and figuratively, I guess pun intended, to see a fucking ebony gargoyle with giant wings and the most unnecessary accoutrement, a cape.
Yeah.
It's just, but
Yeah.
you know, you want to be fashionable, you're doing your thing.
When you're a gargoyle and you go to, the
Johnson Space Center.
Yeah, do gargoyles have their own version of like TJ Maxx where they can get a sweet cape, like or just like a nice handbag or like a scarf?
The Old Navy. for
maybe
gargoyles.
like a hybrid goyle.
like an infinity scarf. Yeah, there you
Plus,
go.
in the cartoon, they walked upright. They were bipeds. They're
oh
like,
yeah, the
it's like,
gargoyle.
hey, Bill. It's like,
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
I'm a gargoyle. I can't remember the lead dude's name.
No, I can't remember them either.
Shaw then told his stunned family that not only had he seen this creature, but that it had looked directly down at him. The two stared at one another for a few moments. That would be quite terrifying enough, but what made this already disturbing situation much worse was Shaw's insistence that this ebony being actually seemed to be savoring the fact that it had managed to inspire such obvious terror in the archivist.
So it was like
Just kind of leering down at
right,
him.
and
seemed
it
to
was
be-
kind of like, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm a gargoyle.
Like, I can see you're about to
You're
piss your pants.
Yeah, you're a NASA archivist. I'm a gargoyle. I'm gonna win this.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gonna eat your face.
It was at that point that the gargoyle unfurled its wings, which Shaw stated made a crackling noise as it took flight,
Crackling.
and the powerful howling gusts. Remember, it was a blustery evening.
Okay.
The sound of the crackling wings seemed to snap Shaw out of his stupor, and he turned and sprinted towards his vehicle, horrified by the prospect that this seemingly demonic entity might be planning on swooping down upon him. In what must have been the longest moments of his life, Shaw fumbled with his keys, unlocked the door, dove inside his vehicle, started the engine, and drove into the darkness, too terrified to even look back to see if he was being pursued by this semi-avian atrocity. Despite what must have been some well-founded skepticism, Shaw's family rallied behind their patriarch, believing that his harrowing tale was not merely a flight of fancy, but the simple truth.
Well, that's good. They're backing their dad.
Yeah, and husband, or
Yeah. Totally.
stick with your family.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, both Desiree and her mother admonished Shaw not to tell his superiors about the incident, lest his credibility, or even worse, his sanity, be called into question. Shaw agreed with his daughter and wife, but as the days turned into weeks, he was unable to get the memory of his close encounter with the flying fiend out of his mind. Finally, Shaw decided to screw up the courage to confide in his immediate supervisor. Much to Shaw's delight, he was not met with incredulity, or mockery, but instead was informed that he was not the first Johnson Space Center employee to have seen this enigmatic entity skulking in the isolated areas of the station. In fact, Shaw's boss revealed that a secret file had been opened on the creature just a few months prior to Shaw's sighting.
Secret
government.
file.
A secret file.
The government opens up a file on fucking gargoyles in the Texas NASA station. Like,
You can't have gargoyles just willy-nilly
No.
hang out around your top secret space project.
at what point in the government are you like, okay, Bill, we need to get a file on this? Like,
That's the first thing a government bureaucrat does. It's like they'll call some authorities, but they're going to be like, all right, what forms do I need?
Yeah.
What's the guard? Is it the A26?
You need to get a G72, fill out Section A. Don't worry about Section B. Section 2, make sure you append to the page 7. The fucking DMV for gargoyles.
Dude, I swear to God, you are a NASA bureaucrat.
I don't work at NASA, but I do work for partial local government, and there's a lot of bureaucratic bullshit and paperwork you gotta do.
That's what you do.
Gargoyles.
And even if something anomalous shows up, there's still fucking paperwork.
It's like people don't report shit because like, fuck this, I'm not doing the paperwork on this shit.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
There's a gargoyle if there's a gargoyle in the cafeteria, I don't give a fuck because I'm not filling the paperwork out.
You just look the other way.
Yeah, hey Ted.
Yeah, you're like,
hey Mark.
No macaroni and cheese today for us guys.
Nope. Let's keep going.
We're going Red Lobster for dinner.
All right. The supervisor stated that the file had been created in response to the gruesome deaths of 2 of the base's German Shepherd guard dogs. Apparently, the corpses of the hideously mutilated and exsanguinated canines had been discovered in exactly the same area where Shaw had seen the gargoyle.
I was kind of more curious that NASA's facility is guarded by dogs, by German Shepherds.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't.
You don't hear about
that's always the thing. Like
the
you see in
guard
the
dog
movies.
contingent of NASA. Like, I mean, I guess you have to protect some shit. You know, you have guards, you have armed guards, you have military presence, and I guess you'd have some dogs.
Dude, it was 86. They had dogs in 86.
All right, well,
Garden
I don't know.
shit.
I mean,
They probably had a couple of Johnny Fives, some chopping balls.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I had all those things.
Oh, I don't know back then.
I kind of want the job of being the handler for the guard dogs at NASA because you're just playing with puppies all day long, and then you're letting them out into the base to do their guard dog
To
duty.
die a horrible death at the fucking maw of a gargoyle.
I wonder if it's like in Star Wars and like the Rancor when Luke kills the Rancor.
And they just sob.
And the dude there's crying. Yeah.
Oh, if you lose your dog, you're going to cry.
I would be
of course.
Can't talk about it.
All right.
R.I.P. guard dogs.
Following his unusual confession, Shaw's story made its way up the chain of command until it apparently came to the attention of some NASA officials who, in classic Men in Black fashion, decided to interrogate the witness. According to Desiree, her father was intensely grilled by what she referred to as NASA security people who were flown in from somewhere in Arizona. That much I know. You don't want the men from Arizona coming to interrogate you.
That's a weird way to describe
Like they probably weren't
somebody.
really NASA people.
I bet you they're used to very dry heat.
Yeah.
That makes them dangerous.
Yeah, they're desert folk.
All right, so he gets grilled by the MIB.
Which makes sense.
All right, yeah. I mean,
you saw the gargoyle. You're part of the secret file now.
You should have listened to your goddamn family, dude, and not fucking opened your
Not
trap.
open your mouth. You know,
Yeah.
Sure, your supervisor's a nice enough guy, and he'll trade some days with you when you need to go off, on a family vacation. But you can't trust him with the gargoyle.
No,
it's
dude,
too much.
You trust no one with it. You just forget, like most of us, the traumatic shit that happens, and you're fine.
You bury it.
You bury it.
You drink it away.
Exactly.
You hang out with your buddies.
You go on with your life.
You move on.
You live.
The NASA security people made it clear to Shaw that it would be in his and his family's best interest to refrain from telling his bizarre story to anyone else.
See, that sounds like a threat.
That is a threat. That doesn't sound
depending
like
on
a
This
threat.
is why people have a problem with
Depending on how it's
NASA.
said.
This is how shit the flared. How it's
I Jabba the
He
Hutt.
just did Jabba the Hutt. He
slid out. Gargoyles Ubakata.
Unchun Wookie.
Yeah.
This is why people have a problem with NASA, dude. This is why people get all fucked up and all crazy about the flat earth because they're like, NASA's guarding the ice wall because NASA's threatening families, American families.
I don't think
that's
NASA's
not-
as clandestine as people think it is.
No, I don't think
I
so
don't know,
either.
man.
It's not like these people might say
been
they were
some
from
research.
NASA or something, but
There's been some research
I don't
done.
think they are.
They're like the least shady
You know,
government
I don't know,
group,
man.
I think.
Listen, I follow the Rogue NASA account on Twitter. I know what's up.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a real
is
thing.
it
It's a
an
real
alt
thing.
NASA?
It's an alt NASA account. Yeah, I know
Is
what's
it dark
up.
NASA?
No, it's just real NASA.
NASA X.
Yeah, it's NASA X. Yeah.
That would be awesome, by the way.
Actually, that would be awesome.
Fucking we have to have a clandestine space program. I mean, all bullshit aside, there is no way. I remember, like, in the old West Wing episodes where they had the secret military space shuttle and Toby revealed it because his brother was an astronaut dying on the space station or something. Some really convoluted bullshit towards the end of the show when it started dying. But you know that the public face of NASA is just the tip of a fucking iceberg
Dude,
when it comes to a space
this is why
program.
people believe the
Solar
Earth
Warden,
is
bitches.
flat. Solar Warden, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, this is why people believe crazy conspiracy theories about NASA because of stuff like this.
I still don't think of NASA as the garters of the... Well, we'll get to that in Flat Earth. Like,
Yeah. No, I know. It's not like some Da Vinci Code
your
shit.
watch has begun.
Or is it?
I
Or is
don't
it?
think it is.
Dude, we have an episode coming up that will be discussing such conspiracy theories.
It's important.
It's very
important
We'll
to
discuss.
our future,
However,
our families.
We're not here to prove or disprove the roundness or flatness of the Earth. We're here to just talk about the conspiracy.
well, speak for
behind it.
yourself.
What are you going to do when the men from Arizona come knocking on your door and say, hey, nice family?
I'm not going to tell them I saw a fucking
Nice
gargoyle.
family.
It'd
Yeah.
be cool if they stayed that
I'm gonna
way.
be like, I saw no gargoyles.
Mr. Stores, you got a nice family there.
Let's keep it that way.
In his reptilian voice.
Yeah, dude.
His
see?
eyes click and he goes,
And then all the shit I've been telling
Yeah.
you guys for years comes true, and then I'm on the ice wall guarding it.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but what if there's a sweet like hook like in Game of Thrones and it protects the ice wall? Then it's going to be sweet and you're going to do it every day. And be like, I'm so glad I'm here.
And you guys aren't going to be there because you don't believe in the reptiles or the possibility of an Earth not being round.
Yeah, that's our problem, isn't it?
well,
If
we don't believe it,
divisive look like, yeah, that's our problem
Yeah.
now.
maybe we get sent there with you.
Yeah, all right. Oh, maybe you
potting
will.
from the wall.
There you go. Well, we can't podcast a secret.
This threat
Of NASA.
made by the NASA security people, quote unquote,
Oh, boy.
might well explain why Shaw never broke his silence and why Desiree waited nearly 18 years to tell her father's tale. As to what this beast may be, theories run the gamut from an extraterrestrial espionage agent who was attempting to access the Space Center in order to collect information on Earth's probably vastly inferior space exploration capabilities and agenda. 2, this is the other end of the spectrum, a stylish, shape-shifting vampire, complete with cape,
Stylish.
who was caught by Shaw transforming
no.
from human to bat in order to escape to the safety of a nearby tomb, cave, or creepy windowless van.
Why would it fit in if a
Creepy
vampire?
windowless
So it's
van?
a
A
vampire
it
that might
flies
has
into
a
a
mobile
van?
tomb. No, you need a mobile tomb. You're in the middle of Texas. There's a lot of sun.
That's a
That's
great
big
idea.
sun country, man.
That's a great idea.
Dude, you have to. Well, then he has to have somebody. Yeah, I know.
With a sweet Conan like vista on the side.
Yeah,
He's
dude,
got to
a
have
cool
like
wizard.
somebody, a subservient dude though that watches.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
you need a Renfield.
Every
That's what I mean.
vampire has, a Renfield.
not all of them.
They have to.
The good ones do.
The good ones, the ones that survive,
Yeah, the
do.
sweet ones that know the deal. You need a human acolyte that is going to take care of your shit. So when you're a vampire and you're eating the dogs of NASA, and suddenly, one of the employees from the sub-basement sees you as you're turning into a bat to fly home before, dawn's early light.
Shit, I've been caught.
Yeah.
Oh, fly away.
Shit. I know.
That was the best Dracula I've ever heard.
That's so good. Oh, Jesus.
I just thought about it. It's like, shit.
He just takes off. I need to tell Renfield we need to get the fuck out of here. Oh, the sun. Anyway, sorry. It was great. All right.
But even more absurd is the fuck-sucking thought that it's a goddamn spy from Arcturus or Sirius B.
Arcturus.
Yeah, like what?
Whatever. Fucking that just is like, I'm going to see what 86 NASA's got
Yeah,
going.
that one's a little out of control.
86 technology. Well, because we were sending rockets up. So I mean, why would they need our tech?
Well, if you're an alien already,
Right.
and you had whatever it takes, technologically, spiritually, whatever, to get to fucking Earth, if you've got the right stuff to get here, you don't need what we have. What we have is some ridiculous piss poor shit.
Could you imagine getting here being like, God damn it.
Maybe not
these
for tech, but
monkeys
maybe
can't
there's-
do shit.
No, they're
like,
garbage.
It
but
could have
their
been for
dogs are
elements,
delicious.
resources,
yeah.
water. Maybe they just needed some, I don't know, corn.
How do you corn?
GMOs. They want to know about GMOs.
Like there wasn't
and high
enough to
fructose
begin
corn
with, and they
syrup.
just
Yeah.
didn't have enough enough, and they didn't find out, so they'd come there.
Then we gave them high fructose corn syrup. They all developed diabetes, and their entire planet died off.
We won.
And we won. Yeah, we
and
won.
That's how America
won the
wins.
war.
I know.
America, goddamn it,
That's
we
the
win
real
the
war of the world.
And that's how we bring diabetes back into the conversation.
That's right, goddammit.
A staple of our program.
That's
Here's
right.
some cigarettes,
Yeah.
some Crisco. Have fun,
McDonald's
fuckers.
coupon.
Enjoy this pack of Camel non-filters there,
yeah.
fucking buddy.
God.
Enjoy.
Blah.
Insta lung cancer.
Oh.
Okay, so
So let go ahead.
So there's more.
as far as what we think...
There's a little more.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry. What else? Yeah, if you
There's a
can
smidge
continue
more.
on. Okay.
Smidge.
Because besides Vampire and Special Agent XJ33, fucking there is also the thought that, and I'll continue reading here, due to the similarity to both medieval depictions of devils as well as an uncanny resemblance to DC Comics' caped anti-hero Etrigan the Demon,
Oh, good pull, Robert.
created by legendary illustrator Jack Kirby in
Right.
1972.
The rhyming demon.
It is difficult not to jump to the conclusion that this gargoyle-like entity is an agent of diabolical evil, one that revels in shocking unwary humans and imbibing on the blood of their canine companions. As to what purpose an envoy of the Dark Lord might have in lurking around the Johnson Space Center, aside from drinking dog's blood and scaring the shit out of random NASA employees, one can only speculate and assume the worst. So, of course, someone's going to... The demon has to be a theory we throw out.
Well, I guess.
It's just
Wings.
when you're
Well,
winged and
but-
look like a gargoyle, a muscular jet black skin, wearing a sweet cape, which you know is satanic, is the dills.
Yeah, it's got to be. Well, there is a connection with, and we talked about this briefly in a few weeks ago in a bunch of manic emails I sent everybody at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
About the NASA roots of occult,
I
the
recall
occult
them.
roots of NASA. I started sending you the timeline
I
of
thoroughly
everything.
enjoyed it.
And it goes with Aleister Crowley, and it goes with L. Ron Hubbard, and Jack Parsons, and there is a bit of a thing there, more interdimensional, dealing with like I guess hyperdimensional beings, not necessarily like opening the gates of hell, but what we might consider hell could be a different dimension. This
And
could
if
be
it's,
something
if it's
from
hot
it.
enough and pokey enough, we would think it's hell. Sure.
Yes, yeah. So
Lava Town.
Yeah.
yeah, Lava Town.
It could be a vacation home for a lot of species,
Could be.
but for us, it's like,
But
fuck.
if NASA does have this occult background to it, as talked about in our research, that we
could
haven't,
portals have been ripped asunder?
they could have been.
Do they
You
have
never know.
NASA stargates to the nether reaches?
Dude, we have
love
to get to the
Stargates.
moon.
Do they have Jacob's Ladder branch
could.
in another sub
They could.
basement where
So-
all the Twitchers
so
are?
the-
Yeah, no,
demon-
I hate that.
I hate it too.
A
I
demon
hate that
could
story.
could be a possibility. You never know.
Now, here's where we get to the oracle factor.
Okay.
And this is something that's well known in context, but I'll deliver the basics for anyone that might not be more familiar with this. It has been suggested by me right now
Yeah, I know. Jesus Christ.
that the
Okay.
description of a glaring winged humanoid bears at least a passing resemblance not only to the notorious Mothman of Point Pleasant, but also of the Owlman of Cornwall, one we will definitely be doing in a story I love. Both of which are said to elicit an irrational sense of fear in those who witness them. Although, in all fairness, to anyone who sees a monstrous airborne
Well, that-
entity,
you can't-
fear would be
yes.
the most rational response
Yeah.
you could fucking have.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, so but they say when you see a Mothman or the Owlman, which is very much like a Mothman, and that's in Cornwall, England, obviously, that there's like just this sense of dread and anxiety, like you have a panic attack.
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
sort of thing, and it's just a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
The other possible connection it might have with the Mothman is the fact that both beings were associated by chronology and geography, if nothing else, with tragic incidents resulting in the loss of life. The Mothman, for right or wrong, will forever be associated with the collapse of the Silver Bridge on December 15th, 1967, resulting in the untimely deaths of 46 people. We all know that, and we all know that either due to the fact that it was somehow involved with it, which I don't necessarily believe, or the fact that people were now preoccupied with this tragic event, reports of the Mothman dried up immediately.
And if you're in Chicago, there's a lot of Mothman sightings going on right now.
And some people are paranoid that there might
And
be
you
some
ought to
imminent
be
doom.
paranoid, because when everyone's seen a Mothman, you know what's going to happen. Some shit is going to go down.
Let me continue here.
Sorry.
There are sorry. There are those who are sure that the Mothman somehow caused this disaster, but there are many others who suggest that the presence of this winged entity was designed to serve as a kind of warning to the citizens of Point Pleasant of impending danger. If that was its intention, the results of the Mothman's ostensibly cautionary appearances were woefully ineffective. But despite that, it's like a smoke alarm that, works with sign language.
Yeah.
It's the worst kind of alarm.
Yeah, it is.
Really. Like, beware.
It's terrifying.
Here's a terrifying
people,
Mothman.
I know,
yeah.
but some people really tend to believe this. So if you believe that this is sort of like an oracle of doom to come, like if you see these winged entities
Right.
and they're semi-humanoid and they're flying around, it will scare you and it will chase you maybe, but it will ultimately result in some like tragic event. There's something that we have to at least entertain.
Does it at least tell you?
Well, say
like,
what happened?
Well, here's the thing. While we don't know the specific month, it's just said this took place in 1986. We do know that the Gargoyle was spotted at a crucial NASA hub the same year as the booster engine failure that caused the Space Shuttle Challenger to
that
break
was
apart
86.
on January 28,
Shit.
1986, with 5
Really?
astronauts,
That's right.
1 payload specialist, and 1 civilian aboard. So it's weird that, and it's a tenuous connection, and I'm the first to admit that I'm real skeptical about the idea that Mothmen or Owlmen or even the Gargoyle of NASA are oracles of doom in any real sense, but the fact that it was 1986 when it showed up. Now, if this happened to happen in early January, because there's only 28 days.
That's what I'm saying. You had a month
Yeah.
to show up.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, I admit it's tenuous and it's based on nothing, but it's interesting that the not first major, there was the astronauts that burned up in the capsule. Other great tragedies that happened to our space program.
Well,
but
yeah.
the first one of our lifetime.
Right.
Certainly the biggest tragedy up until that point of the
Yeah.
80s. So, at least that throws a little fuel on the paranoia fire for those that are inclined to believe that.
Okay.
So I guess basically, I mean, I don't necessarily think that this creature has anything to do with the tragedy. I mean, it could be just that it's a sort of migrating weird creature that just stopped and ate along the way and scared a guy, and that the cape was not really a cape, but just the wrinkly flesh of its bat-like wings that were folded on its back.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think that we have flying humanoid creatures in any great numbers, otherwise we would know about it, but
what's interesting though is the government did open a file, because this wasn't the only time this ever happened. Obviously, they exsanguating the dogs, and clearly other people must have seen it. If the government's going to open a file on it, so that's kind of like the pin here is that the government's like, okay, people are seeing a gargoyle here at NASA.
Well,
in
what they're calling
Texas
a
area.
gargoyle, I'm not convinced of that,
enough
really. But
so that the government's going to actually open a file on it.
which wouldn't take much. I mean, if dogs are murdered and drained of blood,
Right.
and an employee that has been there for God knows how many years sees some really weird shit in what is no doubt a secure facility that you need definite clearance to get on, a file is going to get started.
I wonder. Yeah,
I'm not impressed by the fact that they started a file, because
can you do like a Freedom of Information Act on that? You think?
Probably.
Or is this going to all come back redacted? Just
redacted or ridiculous. Yeah.
A piece of paper is all blacked out. Like
yeah, but there's not. I doubt they really did an in-depth investigation on this.
I mean, if the dogs are murdered, though,
Well,
they
and
kinda
how much
have
can you
to.
do? I mean, at some point,
dogs. Like they're not gonna spend money and launch a full investigation.
That's true.
On
I
some
guess
dead dogs.
I'm actually giving the government more credit than I should because I'm like, no, the dogs were killed.
Well, yeah, if someone said
They will be avenged.
A black skin batwing thing killed my dogs.
Right.
Okay, you got to do some paperwork because
Yeah.
dude said this, and there's liability, there's things,
True.
so that has to be filed.
Right.
They're not going to be like, send in the fucking Team X1. Take care of the fucking...
We need Logan and Sabretooth on this.
unless, of course, and now we're going into La La Land, but I love it.
Okay.
Your ideas about a paranormal foundation on which NASA was built and which remained subversive within the larger context of a big scientific establishment, but still existed.
The only thing with that theory is that historically it is accurate. The events that happened from and what we have an entire episode coming up on this, so we're not going to get too in depth. But as far as as far as Aleister Crowley, what his work in the area, contacting these hyperdimensional beings, moving forward with L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons, which sounds like the probably the coolest or worst fucking party to ever be a part of.
Oh yeah,
it sounds kind of cool.
It's gonna
I
be
want to
awkward.
be there.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cool.
I don't.
So
And they're gonna be douches. They're gonna be hitting on your girlfriend. It's not going to be fun.
they were actually fighting over Jack Parsons' girlfriend.
There you go.
And then actually it ended with L. Ron Hubbard leaving, with the woman and taking all the money or
I
whatever.
am
'cause that's
shocked
what L.
any
Ron
woman
Hubbard
ever
does.
picked L.
Dude,
Ron
you
Hubbard.
think it's going to be a cool party, but really it's going to be like, I can't believe
know,
these
man.
people
It's
are buying
probably
into this.
just-
And there's going to be
They're
lines of coke.
creeps. Oh yeah.
There's going to be so much drugs and crazy, just insane bullshit happening. But anyway, the actual line goes from Crowley to Hubbard Crowley to Parsons to Hubbard. And then that's where NASA spawns off from Parsons' work at the JPL lab. That's historically correct, but that's not saying that, yes, in fact,
anything happened.
Yeah, that's not saying that NASA is an organization based on occult ritual. But
we all want to desperately believe
Oh,
that
yeah,
there's
totally.
a genuine BPRD. That like the kind of
Yeah.
organization that Hellboy worked
Yeah,
for,
totally.
that deals with paranormal issues, that deals with the underground shit, that deals with magical threats, is totally sanctioned by the government, is kept under wraps, because if people would flip out over UFO disclosure, they would really lose their shit over demonic disclosure.
Totally.
Now, I don't think this is true.
No,
This
as
is
much
the
as,
fun cinematic
as
part of it.
awesome
Of course,
As
yeah.
awesome as that theory sounds, and I wish that was the explanation for NASA, it's probably not.
Oh, yeah.
But I can, this is all about having fun, so have fun with it.
What if the space station is really just about keeping
man.
the old ones placated?
Exactly.
Like they have to go up there and perform all sorts of arcane rituals in that
Exactly.
shitty
Yeah.
sweat sock smelling tiny
So
space.
it's like Cabin in the Woods.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they have to just
Basically,
do
yeah.
these things. And
and it has to,
Quell
done
the
in the-
apocalypse
in the
every
full light of
month.
day. And it's so absurd no one would believe it, and you have to be deep on the inside to know that you're the ones doing it. And every now and again, a fuck-sucking gargoyle gets out at NASA.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
always at the Johnson Center, because
NASA.
for
All right.
some reason they love
So-
that place.
So because this guy is a NASA archivalist, if this is something where, because he is working late at night, it is at night, he's obviously, I'm not sure how stressful a job is being an archivist or an archivalist.
I don't know.
So, obviously we can say that, yes, this dude just saw something that wasn't there.
Oh, like now we're getting into the fact that this dude just had like a fucking snap.
Yeah, or just-
he
he saw
saw like
something-
a weird bird that got wrapped in someone's sheets because it flew through their laundry,
Well,
and
I
it's
mean,
just on the side of a building. Going,
Wait a minute.
"Ah!"
Well, what about the dogs?
That's true. What about the dogs?
Yeah, what drains blood from dogs?
Like
Besides
it's not a
chupacabras?
it's
Sure,
not
you're
a
absolutely
traditional. I don't think it's a gargoyle.
No.
It's not. It's really not.
No.
One of the most crushing
But-
things that ever happened to me as a kid, and I loved the movie Gargoyles.
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah,
made for
totally.
TV movie from the 70s, and it was just great. But was finding out that gargoyles were not based on historical legend, that they're just basically ways to drain waters off of cathedrals. They
Yeah.
made these crazy demonic faces
Yeah,
and creepy
that's the deal.
creatures, and they're just there as just these little architectural flourishes
Yeah.
that serve a function.
Right.
I was so upset because I thought there has to be like legends of gargoyles raiding villages in the 1500s or something. I really thought there'd be something, but they're never. It's not. It's not a thing. They're just as made up as the flesh-eating zombie,
Right.
which we can trace back to
absolutely.
Romero and '68 and maybe a
But
few
then,
films
like
before
the
that.
legend became, they were actually more guardians of those than
protective entities.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
not just attacking fuckers.
We got a buddy with a big stone gargoyle on their house. That,
Oh,
they
yeah, we
think of
do.
as a-
What's
Yeah.
up, good buddy?
That's why they're
protective
there.
thing,
They're
yeah.
guardians. They
Yeah.
don't just.
But it's all symbolic. So the fact that it's called a gargoyle, I think the reason for that is simply that it looks sort of evil
Right.
and demonic, and it was on the edge of a building.
So
Yeah.
in the world as we know it, what could this thing possibly be? I'm thinking like a vulture, what are those condors in California? Is it a California condor?
Yeah.
Is
You
it
said a
name?
condor.
What are those
You just said it.
condors
I
in
know. I'm like,
California?
what are those condors?
I recently
condors.
Googled that when I was on the Monsters Among Us Patreon bonus
Condor Man?
episode. I was Googling it as we were talking, and I'd never seen a California condor, and I'm like, wow, that
they're
thing
fucking-
sucks.
They're Thunderbirds, basically.
They're basically Thunderbirds. So there are animals in our known world that could possibly fit that description, but like Chris brings up, as far as attacking the the German Shepherds and exsanguinating them. Probably
Exsanguinating?
Yes. Probably not going to get done by a bird.
No, it's generally
or even a giant bat.
I mean,
for
then
that
again,
matter.
I mean, you get a bald-headed eagle pissed off enough, it might take
suck
out a
your
German,
blood.
Might check out a German Shepherd. Well, maybe not suck your blood, but cut your jugular. Probably.
The only thing
They have machetes for faces, so yeah, they could totally do that.
They do have machete faces. I mean,
Majestic.
if it was a giant bat, if somebody had I don't know, a grotesquely
big bat, though, dude.
proportioned fruit bat that they kept as like a private
that
in their menagerie, and it got out. But there's nothing. All right, unless this guy had a psychotic break or is an outright liar. I can't think of an animal, certainly no animal that's indigenous to Texas, but not even an animal worldwide that might have gotten loose in Texas, that you would mistake for a humanoid entity.
They said it was biped, though, right?
Yeah, well, it was.
Ish.
I assume.
It was
or not.
standing there, like on the.
They said,
edge
so
of
it was
the
standing,
building,
it looked like it had a cloak, and then all of a sudden wings hammered.
Yeah. Which
and then wings unfurled.
Which sounds like a bird kind of like keeping its wings like this, and then it's kind of.
Or a bat.
Or a bat, yeah. All right, well, we have to bring that up because it's part of what we do.
Yeah.
This is what it could possibly be. Not the most fun thing ever.
Well, no, but the thing about that is, and I know I tend to be the guy that poo-poos on. I mean, I love healthy skepticism, but I definitely want things to be fucking weird. I don't think that. Not to say he's not a biologist. He's a man that is a scholar of paperwork, but I just don't think you would see that. Even if you saw someone in the corner and you got startled, and you thought, "Oh wait, it's Batman! Oh wait, it's a giant bat! Oh fuck!"
Yeah,
it's a humanoid thing wearing a cape,
right,
with fucking wings.
And his family did keep this under wraps for years.
Yeah, 18 years apparently.
18 years they didn't talk about it. So
well,
he has no angle. He has no angle for the after school special about the NASA.
Oh yeah,
Gargoyle.
he certainly isn't trying to monetize it. He's not trying to. Get a made-for-TV movie out of it, whatever you do in '86 with your story. And it's not even that much of a story. Like, if you make something up, you'd almost it swooped down and, grab my shoulders, but I got away.
Yeah.
He just saw it. It seemed to look at him and go like, yeah, I got you, bitch.
So I'm a gargoyle, bitch.
And then flies away, and he's like, ah!
Nice.
And then he gets fucking interrogated and intimidated and keeps his mouth shut.
Obviously, anything like that's always a possibility, but let's move on to... NASA Gargoyle. It's just literally a gargoyle or some type of cryptid hanging out at a NASA station that this dude just so happened to see.
Like I say, I mean, I don't think we have migratory, onyxy.
Do you think though that because it was
bats.
NASA? Do you
no,
think
I know that's just a little.
Because it's NASA, do you think that is why the creature is there, or is it just that the creature just so happened to land at a NASA place?
Yeah, well, there's no evidence either way.
No,
but I can't. There's no reason to think that it was there.
I mean, it seems like.
Yeah, but it doesn't, because all the shit we've talked about that just happened in random parks.
Sure,
but of all the random spots to land at a NASA building, like
dude,
that's weird.
It exists in the world,
but there's not many. Like where's the nearest NASA facility to us?
Yeah, but you could say the same thing. Like, why did the blue heron land in NASA? Does it know something? Does it want to get on the shuttle? It's like it's just a place that it landed.
I know. Why do a billion geese land in my backyard by the rock quarry?
They love you.
I think because
they want to be closer to you.
Rock quarry, and,
right?
And you, and you're,
clearly,
yeah.
What I'm curious to know is
I want to tie this to
NASA. I know there's nothing to tie.
Had said the Lord's Prayer backward.
Oh, would it drop it?
Would it drop it? Or does that not work
on
on gargoyles? Is that exclusively a witch thing?
I think it's probably exclusively a witch thing.
You probably if you do that and it doesn't work, that's a fucking. You're done.
Yeah.
Like it'll probably just enough to piss it off to be like, dude, I was going to keep flying. I was happy to terrify you, make you shit your pants.
I have to eat you.
And now. Yep. Say goodbye to your face.
So as far as the government creating the file and then the Men in Black, I'm sorry, the men from Arizona, whatever, the Arizona hardcore,
the well-tanned gentlemen.
Oh my god, I know.
The leathery skinned gentleman from Arizona,
the men in bronze.
They basically threaten his family as like it's good for you and your family if you don't talk about this. Now, I wonder if that's because.
They were just concerned for his family, actually in his job, and be like, if you keep doing this,
exactly.
you're going to get fucked.
We're making it sound nefarious. It could have been like, hey, Mr. Shaw.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to talk about
Dude,
this.
you're in the 6th level of NASA. You're shuffling papers all day. You're like the dude in Office Space with the stapler.
Got a good pension.
That's what I mean. You make a decent
set
loot.
up.
Yeah, like if you
don't
keep
fuck it up.
pushing this, we're gonna have to give you the Section 9 here at NASA as
We
the
don't
paper guy,
wanna.
and we don't want to do that.
Listen, think about your
Or-
family.
That you're
Think about
right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was that friendly?
Yeah,
like 'cause the first thing we always think is some nefarious twist of
Yeah.
your
Of course,
arm.
but it probably was
You
that,
end up
really,
in the
though,
desert, fucking on a horse with no name. Yeah, that's right. I did that.
We just had, we had a Facebook comment about that actually with the space clams. So yeah, or blimps as we call it here in the show. So
people are confusing that.
all right, so yeah, maybe these guys are like, dude, look, for the sake of your family, your own mental stability, like whatever sort of psychotic break you had, just like hush up about it because we don't want to have to boot you out of the government. You got a good pension, you got a retirement, you got 5 more years to go. No big deal.
Yeah.
Or
Just tough it out.
Or they were like, this is a thing that we're dealing with actively. You saw it. You shouldn't have seen it. You keep running your mouth about this. Guess what? You and your family are not going to have a very Merry Christmas.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
There will be gargoyles.
I feel like probably
gargoyles
that-
under the tree.
Probably not.
Gargoyles
Yeah.
under the tree. Oh my god, that would
Gargoyle eggs in your mailbox.
that would totally suck.
We're just saying.
Because as far as we know, this is a one and done.
Oh yeah.
Well, it is.
So,
it is.
like, what's the point of the
there was,
one-time guardian of NASA?
Well, no, but there was
I know.
reports. But there was probably reports from other people who witnessed it and the death of the German Shepherd.
There's something
true.
that they claim. We don't have that report.
I mean, just because Desiree came out and is like, "This is some shit Frank had to deal with. It was a bad scene," doesn't mean there aren't maybe half a dozen,
There could be
maybe
other-
more.
tons
That's
of
true.
people
That
Yeah.
really kept quiet. Like the other people that were responsible for the starting of that file.
Right.
Yes, it was the dead dogs, but other people probably saw some weird shit, and a lot of them would probably be like, "Yeah, no, I'm glad to go with the program. I didn't want to see it. I'm sorry I saw it.
Right.
I'd be glad never to talk about it.
Yeah, that's the deal.
And I get a crucifix and a dental plan."
Yeah.
I just need to fucking get on with my life. And
Yeah, I need a
fix my
relic.
teeth.
I need protection.
A reliquary arm
Yeah.
with the bone of a saint
Right, and some money.
and some money.
Yeah, lots of money to not
Yep.
talk about
and,
this.
and a paid vacation. Yeah.
Or the other, obviously you discussed the possibility of like alien espionage, where for some reason it's an alien looking at our tech,
Which
and
is
being
I
like,
just
absurd.
can't.
It doesn't really
that
work.
doesn't make any sense.
Unless it's like somebody like us, like we're all into like weird vintage music and crazy old cult movies and just strange
Right.
shit. Maybe it's just somebody that's like, oh, I gotta look at this. Fossil fuels.
unless
Combustion engines.
Yeah.
Follow me.
This is awesome.
follow me with this,
All right, go.
unless at this
Well,
NASA at this particular NASA spot, what if the government was working with the backward the re-engineered tech that we got from Roswell?
Okay. All right, keep going. I'm
all
with
right.
it.
So, the scientists had this tech. They're working into what do they call it? What is it called? Like
Reverse engineering.
yeah. Well, no, not reverse engineering, but the Tom DeLonge talked about it with the To the Stars Academy. Like, it's some kind of special power that we got from
an energy
Roswell.
source.
Yeah, like some kind of energy source. Like it's not solid state, but it's some energy source. So, like, if this
Cold fusion. The chilliest fusion.
it's gonna kill me. I can't remember
Doesn't
what the hell
matter.
it's called.
Don't worry.
Anywho,
So if this spy or whatever is here at this NASA area looking at the tech that we got from Roswell to see what we're doing with it, because think about it, if we took tech from Roswell and we're reworking it into our own shit,
Sure.
we technically could be a danger to other planets out there.
Oh, absolutely. If that whole thing that led to Solar Warden, and for our listeners who might not know, that's the alleged thing that a British hacker found in NASA files, and and he got arrested for it, and almost, well, I think he went to jail for a short period of time, but basically discovered that we have a secret super fleet that goes to Mars and other planets and fights at least like 14 alien species to protect our Earth. Which is, again, an awesome miniseries that Sci-Fi Channel should jump on immediately.
Yeah, made right now, yeah.
And Solar Warden's a great name. But so if there is a situation like that, and it came from, and the guy that used to run the skunk works there at Lockheed Martin, I'm drawing a blank on his name. And I'm ashamed of it.
Right, I know what you're talking
about. But, Deathbed Confessions and other confessions before he died, allegedly said, yeah, we got some of our technology, we recovered some of it's theirs, meaning extraterrestrials, some of it's ours, meaning human ingenuity.
Yeah.
And so if you blend the shit that can be done by like a Robert Oppenheimer or a Albert Einstein or some other super genius from Earth with truly advanced technology from another culture, and find ways to integrate it and make like a super tech out of it, which I'm not saying I believe, but I'm not ruling that possibility out either, then you could create some really fascinating shit. And if that's the case, then another alien species with sweet capes would have every reason to want to know what the fuck
they
we're
would
doing.
want to come and check it out.
I just feel like that's there's a lot of jumps you're making for that.
I mean, that is the biggest jump ever. Because first of all, you're like,
there's
fine,
there's
Roswell,
nothing connecting
we got the
to that.
tech.
Yeah,
it's in a NASA, secret base in Texas. They send their spy, the
there's
archivist,
just
leaving to go home to his family, sees it. And then there you go. Files are open. German shepherds are killed.
We are pissing into a fucking windstorm here, and we're all getting wet.
Yeah,
I get that.
No, I think it's more terrestrial than that.
All right, can I throw this one out there?
Sure. What do you got?
This is just me wishful thinking completely.
Oh boy!
But you know how after World War II we had Operation Paperclip, which was where we got from Werner von Braun and a lot of Nazi scientists, and then repurposed them for our space program.
That's where Jack Parsons comes in.
What if, and this was where Jack Parsons might also come in, after breaching certain portals that shouldn't be breached with other dimensions, perhaps a dimension that looks a heck of a lot like hell.
Thank you.
Where there's things that look like demons and they have weapons like pitchforks and whatever else. There was a war.
Okay.
And human beings
I can't.
are so badass. And we had all that fresh World War II technology. We won that war. And we got their best demon scientists, a la Operation Paperclip, but this was Operation Pitchfork. We brought them over from Dimension Hell. And this guy is a demon scientist that became an American citizen that is just having a smoke break. And it's like, fuck, I knew I shouldn't have come out. And he's just working in the other basement on top secret projects, just like the Nazis did back in the 50s for us. And we're getting to the future because these demon scientists are working their fucking red giant balls off for it.
All right. Well,
Case closed.
All right. I mean, listen.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, there you go. Cinematically, you need to get your ass back into Hollywood because that needs to be a goddamn miniseries somewhere.
That would be fun. That was a Netflix series.
It was written well.
Dr. Gargoyle.
Dr. Gargoyle.
You should totally.
Esquire.
You should
He's
totally.
a lawyer now.
I know.
You should totally
Bill
pitch
Gargoyle.
that to you know what? Fuck Hollywood. Pitch it to like Mike Mignola and John Arcudi and be like, guys, here's a great idea for the BPRD that I came up with. Boom. You're writing Hellboy with Arcudi. I'm sorry, BPRD with Arcudi.
That would be sweet. That would
great
be a
idea.
good life.
I like it, but
it's not really what happened.
No, it sounds awesome.
But isn't it great? He's just like
I want
he's
those
Billy
action
Demon
figures,
having a smoke break.
It's like
hanging out inside of a building,
just hanging out, getting his marbs on, and just like, I just need to stretch my wings.
Yeah,
have a moment.
These goddamn human chairs don't fit my damn haunches.
No, they do not. I haven't washed my cape in 3 weeks.
My weird backward knees, legs, and I walk.
Well, maybe he really
is
just. Maybe he's just like some sort of weird werebat. Lives nearby. He just happened to transform. He's just hanging out, and it's like fuck.
Yeah.
And he goes back home.
The Bela Lugosi.
It's very simple. Yeah.
The other connection I would see would be the Oracle of Doom, a la the Mothman. Well, I mean, there was the '86 catastrophe though with Challenger, so that could be.
Yeah, but we don't know for sure this happened before that.
No,
not at all.
Grasping at gargoyles at this point.
I just
you want it so bad.
I know I want to.
Normally, I'm the one who would point that I wanted.
I just wanted to use the word Oracle so bad. I found a way to make it happen.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay. So to answer the question that we posed in the beginning of this episode, I'm going to. Demon, vampire, alien, spy, or Oracle of Doom. Robert, what do you think?
Oh, based solely on Chris's impression, I really hope it's vampire.
Okay.
That just got caught mid-transformation.
You're something.
All right, cool.
And delivered the shit.
Christopher, what do you think?
Oh, Jesus.
Now we've got a vampire. Are you going to join Team Vamp? What are you going to do?
Well,
come on.
All the evidence, if you weigh the evidence, it leans towards a vamp.
Okay. All right. Classic vamp.
Not classic.
It could be a classic vamp.
It
Shape-shifting
could be.
super vamp.
Could be. All right.
With his Renfield and the
so
shitty van.
I can join Teen Vamp, or I can go with the Alien Spy or Oracle of Doom.
There's just no evidence.
You can.
There's negative evidence for that.
I am going to break with the ranks And I'm going to respectfully break with the ranks and go for demon a la
Jesus.
the occult roots of NASA.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm going with the Crowley Parsons Hubbard route.
So is it one that just slipped through a portal, or is it one that was summoned specifically and now works for NASA the way like Solomon with his ring used demons to build the
his temple?
Did like Kennedy have a special ring and he used demons to build
the Kennedy ring?
The Kennedy ring.
Was it the same ring?
It could be. Maybe the Kennedys got Solomon's
ring. You can't
ring.
destroy artifacts.
That's why he was killed. You have too much power when you control an army of demons that can build your entire space program.
Did NASA have
with
the ring?
Nazis.
Did NASA have the ring?
Do they still have the ring? Who wields the ring?
Was he there to get the ring?
Oh,
was he sent from the fucking realm?
It's too dangerous for people to have this ring.
That feels right.
I feel good about this too.
NASA has the fucking Solomon's
ring.
ring.
The truth, it just feels good.
Well, the whole point of NASA is to get us to the moon, Mars, and I believe Venus too, to collect artifacts
and to protect the ring.
The artifacts are to be brought back, which will then enlighten all of humankind.
What if there's other demon-controlling artifacts on different planets from cultures that maybe lost their battles with demons, but they couldn't destroy the rings because the rings are too powerful, and we're trying to collect all the rings?
Well, yeah. I feel like Mars flourished way before we did and died, so...
Yeah. So the rings are just waiting.
Piles of rings on Mars.
Well, they're allegedly, according to stories, there are artifacts on Mars.
Yeah, piles of them.
So I'm going to go with the demon. We will have an episode coming up with the occult roots of NASA. It is going to be super fun, and I'm super excited about it. And I think we might be able to tie it back to the NASA Gargoyle.
Hey,
so there you go.
If we can find collusion,
that takes a lot of duct tape. But you're gonna do it.
I got to tell you,
you're gonna do it.
There's a couple things that are going to happen. We're going to go light bulb, NASA Gargoyle.
Oh, boy.
That's what it was.
We're just looking again at the tip of the iceberg, and that. We're just this close to the truth, just a hair's breadth away.
Just this poor dude had a psychotic break, thought he saw something, and then the government's like, dude.
It was like 3 crows.
There's a big,
exactly, yeah. And
big
really,
fucking crow.
I think that your assumption is correct. Where just like, dude, like. You got a good gig. You got 10 more years. Just stop being a fucking crackpot. Hold your shit. Enjoy your stapler and your shit, and just don't ruin this for your family because they need to live and you need to retire and allow me to flourish and
write
prosper.
a book and release it posthumously.
Off the back of the government. So there you go.
Yeah, that's probably the most rational way to look at
more
this.
than likely. But hey, you know what? I want our listeners to get a hold of us and let us know what you think the NASA Gargoyle is. Let us know what you think the NASA Gargoyle is.
I want to know what the NASA Gargamel is. And what kind of spells is he crafting for Smurf consumption?
Maybe it was Gargamel.
Oh boy,
well, it could be.
That's a whole other rabbit.
And he was like holding onto an ornithopter.
Oh my god!
Holy shit! All right, let's just fucking end.
Yeah, let's just stop because we're just going to keep going. Yeah,
quit while we're just a little bit behind.
How many times have I ever said ornithopter?
No,
that makes like 3.
Yeah, that is 3. I've known you for probably 15.
That's the first time I've said it twice now.
I've never seen it. That's the twice that I've heard that come. Okay. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know how to go with this anymore. How do we close the show out? Thank you for joining us for the Cryptonaut Podcast.
Boom.
Be sure to rate and review this show on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It is greatly appreciated. Follow us on the social medias. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Again, hit us up there. Let us know what you think about the NASA Gargoyle. Send us your theories, your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions. Let us know how you think about what this dude saw.
Absolutely.
Because
we clearly have no real idea. Not at
all. We have no idea.
But boy, it's fun speculating.
It is. So there you have it. And we're talking to you soon.
Later. Fly on a demon's wing.
Beyond the gates of space and time. Oh.